What is up YouTube, this is Zane from Team Judgment, and today I'm coming at you with my Qliphort deck for the April 2015 format in the month of May. So yeah, Qliphort's got hit in the ban list quite a bit. Scout got hit to 2, so unfortunately we can only play 2 copies of Scout now. But you make up for that with other tech choices. I will get to that in a minute. So I'll be going over the 40 card main deck and then the 15 card. Actually no, the extra deck is a bit incomplete. The reason for that is because all Qliphort monsters, they say you cannot special summon monsters except Qli monsters, and unfortunately there aren't any extra deck Qliphort monsters, so that poses a bit of a problem. But nevertheless, you can still access your extra deck, but I will get to that in a minute. Start off with the Summoner's Art targets. So running 2 copies of Qliphort Scout. He's your main search guy. You can reuse him multiple times, providing you have him in your pendulum scale. So Scout's really good. And then I'm running the 1 copy of Qliphort Monolith. I'd rather have 1 Monolith than 2, because if you think about it, you can draw an extra Monolith. It may be a dead draw, but if you're going to draw an extra Summoner's Art, which is that if you're drawing your 3rd Summoner's Art and it's dead, by then you would already be winning because you will have access to both of these. You would have already used them, and you would have already used your Monolith. So yeah, Monolith is additional effect is really good. You can get to draw multiple cards, providing you have the right setup, which can be quite insane at some points. So Monolith's good. I'm only at 1 though. Otherwise, he just becomes a dead draw. He does nothing really other than act as additional draw power. So for the rest of the monsters, I'm running 3 Qliphort Helix, and let's put the glare is horrible there. 3 Qliphort Helix, and then I'm running 3 copies of Qliphort Carrier. Carrier acts as your monster removal. He bounces back a monster when you tribute summon him. Same thing in Helix, except he acts as spell and trap removal. When you tribute summon him, you get to destroy a spell or trap card. They act as your core normal summonable monsters, just your core Qliphort monsters. He's a scale 9 and this guy's a scale 1, so it's good. So 3 of each. Some people run 2 carrier. I just prefer to have the 3 because against certain decks, having general spot removal for monsters is really good. So having 3 carrier is just better in my opinion. So 3 of each, and because Scout got hit to 2, I'd rather like stock up my Qliphort monsters, but just because like you can just go into them and they're there to act as pendulums, act as monsters, act as beat sticks, whatever you want them to use them as. So 3 of each is good. Next up, I'm running 2 copies of Qliphort Disc. This guy gets your OTKs going because when you summon, you get to special summon 2 from deck, which is really good. And then I'm running 2 copies of Qliphort Stealth. This should be a 2nd Stealth. Unfortunately, I only have 1, but Stealth is really good. You can bounce back anything when he's normal summoned, and he's just got like 2800 body as well, which is nice. And then speaking of 2800 bodies, I'm running 2 copies of Qliphort Shell. Shell, his effect is that when you tribute summon him, you can attack twice, and yeah, you just basically just attack twice, like a BLS effect, and it inflicts piercing damage, which can be relevant at certain times. So having 2 shell is a personal preference. Most people only run 1 or sometimes even none, but I like 2 shell, so 2 shell. And then, so that is it for the 2800 beat sticks. On to the last Qliphort monster I'm running is 1 copy of Qliphort Towers. Now, some people will disagree with this because whilst I do understand that you only actually get it out 1 in every 4 or 5 games, when you get this card out, it's an automatic win condition in most circumstances because this card just poses such a threat to your opponent. It's ridiculous. I mean, I've been in that situation. Last thing you want to see is an Qliphort Towers being summoned because it's nearly impossible to get over. And for that reason, I will always run 1 copy of Qliphort Towers. It's searchable and it's a win condition. So those 2 reasons, I will always run 1 Towers. I just love this card to pieces. When you can get this guy off, it's well worth it. So 1 copy of Towers. It can be a dead draw at times, but you have to compensate for the fact that it's a winning condition in itself. So 1 Towers. And the last monsters I'm running are 2 copies of Effect Veiler. I'd rather run this over Fiendish Chain because people will be playing MSTs or side-in MSTs and mess up your Fiendish Chains, and it'll also just Fiendish Chains that can clog because you run a lot of Floodgates in this deck. But Effect Veiler is just a better form of Effect Negation in my opinion. The only bad side is that it doesn't have the opponent cannot attack clause, which is a bummer, but Effect Veiler is still a really good card. So 2 copies of Veiler to act as Effect Negation. On to the spells. That's it for the monsters. I'm running 3 copies of Summoner's Art, obviously because I know you only have 3 targets in a deck, but because Scout got hit to 2, it's important to run 3 because you need to get to that Qliphort Scout as soon as possible. Therefore, having 3 Summoner's Arts just speeds up the deck. You can't get away with running 2. You have to run 3 Summoner's Arts, in my opinion. So 3 Summoner's Arts. And then I'm running 3 copies of Upstart Goblin. Upstart Goblin, again, you have to make up for the fact that Scout got hit to 2, and this just helps with consistency. And I'd rather just draw a card. And this deck can OTK quite easily, so the 1000 extra life points isn't too much of a problem. So 3 Upstart Goblin. And then lastly, for the consistency spells, I'm running 2 copies of Pot of Duality, because you don't actually special summon a lot in this deck. You do when you go off in your big pendulum plays. However, Pot of Duality is just good. It doesn't really hinder the deck at all, and it helps you dig for Scout, because if you can get that turn 1 Scout off, it's really good. And you have to bear in mind that all of your monsters can be normal summoned, so this card's really ever dead. So 2 Duality. For the rest of the cards, I'm running 1 copy of Sacrifice. Unfortunately, this got hit to 1 in the ban list, so to compensate for that fact, I'm running 1 copy of Laser Clip as well. Laser Clip, they both do the same thing more or less, except Sacrifice is obviously a lot better because it searches and monster can't be destroyed by battle. But Laser Clip, what it does is he allows easier access to your big tribute summonable monsters, so you can you can just read what it says, extra normal summon per turn, which is good. And Sacrifice does the same thing, except it can be the monster can be counted as 2 tributes. So Laser Clip's good, and you have to bear in mind that both of these are searchable, which is good. Which is why I'm not running 2 Laser Clip to make up for the 3 Sacrifice, because you just search it out when you need it really. So those are the Qli one-offs we're running, one of spell cards. Then I'm running 1 copy of Raigeki and 1 copy of Book of Moon, just for obvious reasons. Both of these are really good cards. I just love to have the ability to nuke my opponent's board, or just to flip anything face down whenever I want to. So that is it for the spells. On to the traps. I'm running 3 copies of Mirror Force. Mirror Force is one of my favourite traps. Just having the ability to say no to your opponent's whole field is just too good to pass up on. Mirror Force at 3 is good in this deck in my opinion, because right now it's a good meta call for Necros and etc. However, Shadow's are starting to see more frequent play, so I might possibly cut one of these for Deep Prison or something. But I would definitely be siding the Deep Prison, or at least 3 Shadow Mirrors if you're playing this in a tournament. So 3 Mirror Force. And then next up, I'm running 2 copies of Mind Crush. This is again a good meta call. Everything is format searches, so Mind Crush is really good. It just helps you stop your opponent's plays. That's why I'm running 2 of it. And next up, I would have 2 lose 1 turns. However, the set just got released day before yesterday when I'm recording this, Cross Souls. So instead of 2 lose 1 turns, I'm running 2 Recreate. If you have the lose 1 turns, I would definitely swap those out. However, with Recreate is a really good card. The only real advantage that lose 1 turn poses over this card is the fact that you don't actually have to have a face-up Qli monster, face-up Qli card, which can be a problem at sometimes. So Recreate is not as good as lose 1 turn, but lose 1 turn is very good. So I swap both of these out for 2 lose 1 turns. But nevertheless, Recreate is still a good card. So yeah, and then I'm running 1 copy of Vanity's Emptiness with 1 copy of Skill Drain. I would be running these at 3, but because of the ban list, I cannot. And then lastly, 1 copy of Solemn Warning to round up the main deck. So that is it for the main deck. Onto the extra deck. The extra deck is a bit here nor there, because with Qlis you don't really use your extra deck. So the extra deck is just like a bit circumstantial. You don't actually go into it that much. So I'm running 1 copy of Gaia, Gaia Dragon Fondant Charger, 1 copy of Big Eye, just in case a opportunity does arise where you have like 2 disc or a disc and like something else, then you can just go into this guy. So Big Eye's good. And then running 1 Strike Bouncer again, just in case. It probably won't happen, but you just want to be prepared, and you have a lot of room in this extra deck because you don't actually have any staples, except for the rank 4s obviously, but 1 Photon Strike Bouncer. And then for the 5s, I'm running 1 Volk and 1 Durendal. So that is it for like the big Qliphort monsters when they've been tribute summoned. You use these cards to overlay. Just for when you normal summon them and they become level 4, you're running 1 copy of Dark Rebellion, 1 Black Ship, 1 101 Castell, Ragnar Zero, Cowboy, and Dweller. I would probably be running an Exoturn and perhaps a Rhapsody and Berserk, but I just don't have them at the moment. So yeah, this has been my deck profile, guys. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you got if you guys have noticed, we have actually changed our name to Zane X Team Judgment. Yeah, just like thought it was time for a name change. So thanks for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. This is Zane from Team Judgment signing out. Bye.